Hello, my friends. It's Brett and Steven again with the BS Show. UFC 227 has just ended, and it was a great night of fights. We just broke down the Henry Cejudo-Demetrius Johnson fight. Now we are going to break down the main event of TJ Dillashaw, Cody Garbrandt 2. A fight that everyone was super stoked for, including myself.
Dude, I was so excited for this fight. After that first one, I felt like there was so much left to be seen, so much I desired. I could watch this fight for like 10 hours, how that first one went.
Absolutely.
But let's just say one man grew a little more than the other.
Yep.
One man watched a little more film, studied the other man a little more, and he called exactly what he was going to do.
He did.
Yeah,
he did. And you have two guys who, if those of you don't know, who don't like each other, former training partners who TJ Dillashaw went to train at another gym. Team Alpha Male didn't like it. There was a little animosity. TJ and them fought the first time. It was a very close fight. TJ won TKO. So the UFC gave an immediate rematch, and Cody Garbrandt said, hey, I was having some back issues. You know, I wasn't completely healthy. There's no way, no shape, no form that TJ is going to beat me again. And TJ said, you know what? I'm even better than I was the first time.
Now Cody's only back issues is he can't stay off it
exactly.
when he fights TJ.
Exactly. So TJ came out, and not only did he beat him the first time via TKO, his second fight he beat him faster than he beat him the first time.
But this is
via
the thing.
TKO.
Cody always starts off so well, but he gets cocky, he gets that chip on his shoulder, he starts doing good, and he's like, I got this. And he goes in there, and he's a great boxer, but he turns into a brawler like that. It just takes one punch that boosts his confidence, and then he goes in there and brawls with someone who's pinpoint with his striking.
I agree.
And then TJ always ends up catching him in those little exchanges, those little brawls they have.
Well, me as an outsider looking in, I think that boils down to fight IQ. You know, it doesn't take a genius to figure out, like, hey, you hit someone, you rocked them. There's no reason to rush in and start throwing caution to the wind, which is what Cody Garbrandt does. And it being in the UFC at the highest level of fighting, you can't do that. And you've heard multiple fighters before, a.k.a. Dustin Poirier against Eddie Alvarez, when he got him hurt, he goes, hey, man, I rushed in there and I started throwing caution to the wind.
We've seen it time and time again.
Absolutely.
When a fighter's hurt, you rush in, you're like, I'm going to finish this guy, but you rush into his punches and you get rocked.
And what happened to Cody Garbrandt?
Exactly. You asked me something earlier, and I answered, but I want you to answer it for me. Where does Cody Garbrandt go next? What's next for Cody Garbrandt? Because he just lost twice to the champion of his division.
You know, I think for Cody Garbrandt, the only fight for him is a big-name fight. Cody Garbrandt's a big-name fighter. He's an exciting fighter. People like him. He comes from a huge camp. I want to see Cody Garbrandt fight Demetrius Johnson in a super fight, because you have Demetrius Johnson coming off a big loss. He was 11 fights in a row. He defended his belt.
Let's do the same card, but flip
him.
Yeah.
Flip him. Let's see Demetrius Johnson fight Cody Garbrandt. Let's see TJ Dillashaw fight Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo called him out. After he won, he says, I want the winner of Dillashaw Garbrandt.
And he said, you don't even have to come down. I'll go up to
He'll go up. So let's see it. Because if I'm Cody Garbrandt, I have already literally ran through that division. Not only did I beat everybody, I beat him within the first round.
And if you're Demetrius Johnson, you've already ran through your division, already beat the champion of your division.
Absolutely.
You need something a little more exciting. He would love that rematch, I'm sure. But you know what? What is the belt anymore, really? Make that money.
Honestly, the belt doesn't really mean much anymore, and that's at the fault of Dana White. He's created that. So
I don't know if it's Dana White or the new owners, but yeah.
The UFC's at fault.
Yes,
UFC's at fault for that, because now fighters are thinking in their head, even though I'm not the champion, I can still make millions, a.k.a. Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor. You know? So if I'm TJ Dillashaw, I'm calling out Dominic Cruz, the only guy to beat me via decision, very close decision.
If he didn't lose that fight, he would be the reigning defending champion right now of that division.
Multiple times in a row. Might be the pound-for-pound number one fighter in the world. So if I'm TJ Dillashaw, I'm calling out Dominic Cruz to get that win back.
In my opinion, he won the first time. I think you had Dominic.
I had Dominic Cruz,
so
but I'm a Cruz fan.
That just shows that people are split on
Absolutely.
that one.
So hey, duke it out again and end it.
Exactly. Let's see who wins that one.
And then if I'm Henry Cejudo, I'm obviously DJ is going to get an immediate rematch. In the UFC, you have Cody Garbrandt got an immediate rematch. All these title champions who have lost got an immediate rematch. You have to give DJ. And honestly, anybody who's deserving of an immediate rematch is DJ. I mean, he had 11 title defenses. I mean, let's be real here. Like him or not, GOAT or not, whatever, he deserves a title
Level
rematch.
of competition or not, he did what he was supposed to do as a champion.
He deserves a rematch. So I think there's big things coming in the UFC, but let's not count on our boy who we talked about earlier. What's his name?
Marlon Morales.
Marlon Morales. We're calling it right now. Steven and I, we spoke earlier, and we both agreed that guy is a future UFC champion.
I used to watch this guy in World Series of Fighting, and I was like, this dude needs to be in the UFC because he would run through his competition. And when he got into the UFC, I was like, let's see what he could do against that high-level competition because everybody knows when you make that step up into the UFC, it's a whole new playing field.
Yep.
You know, it's a whole new level of competition. And so far, he has 2 head kicks, knockouts. I'm not sure if he has a third fight before that. I just remember versus Aljamain Sterling, made him dab, knocked him out with the head kick.
Dabbing on them bros.
Jimmy Rivera, who's an absolute
who was running through people.
Yes,
For those of you who don't know Jimmy Rivera, he worked Uriah Faber. I mean, what he beat him in the first or second round? I don't remember exactly, but I want to say he TKO'd Uriah Faber.
Yeah.
If not, he beat him for sure. So one of the Hall of Famers, greatest fighters in UFC history, Jimmy Rivera beat, and then Marlon Morales beat him.
Within like 15 seconds.
Yes, this guy is on the come up.
So we're excited for whatever he does in his future. There's a lot of things to come in this division, in both those divisions. And I just can't wait to see what happens because these divisions were one time considered weak, nothing happening in them. They were boring. No one cared about these fights. And tonight I was on my edge of my seat for both of these fights.
Absolutely.
So I'm so excited for this division.
My heart was like, dude.
Mine too, yeah. I kept telling Brittany, my girlfriend, feel my heart. It's beating on my chest.
Yeah, I agree. So anyways, guys, that was a great night of fights. UFC 227 did not disappoint. Even the undercard was great.
No.
There was a lot of finishes. Even if the fights went, to a decision, it was a great fight. So we're glad you guys tuned in. Let us know what you think. Who should fight who next? Who was deserving of a rematch? Who was not? And we'll see you later. Thanks you for tuning in.
LA brought it.